All right, Nick, this has been an offseason full of big moves and bold comparisons, and none other than your Dallas Cowboys are in that list. So I think you have a little bit bigger story on all of this.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is known for making some big statements in the past and in the present, and he made another one recently. According to Zach Rossink over at the Yardbarker, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was clearly ready to move on from star wide receiver Amari Cooper. Shortly after Dallas's home playoff loss to the San Francisco 49ers in January, Jones expressed his frustration with Cooper's performances via comments that served as a predictable preview of what was to come. The Cowboys then traded Cooper to the Cleveland Browns in March and then never replaced him with a big name acquisition. And those decisions left Ceedee Lamb as Dallas's new number one player at that position. Jones recently told Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that he views Lamb as an upgrade over Cooper as a top target for quarterback Dak Prescott. Per Hill, Jones remarked that Lamb, quote, has the markings of more complete number one receiver in production, in the huddle, and off the field, unquote. All right, Miles, what do you think of Jones's comments regarding CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper here?
I think at face value, a lot of people will be like, oh, that's crazy. That's just Jerry Jones coping, like compensating. He made a move that some people questioned, and that's just him trying to, make himself look better. But if we dig a little bit deeper into the stats, and we go to our ever favorite PFF on this one, you kind of see more of the story where Jones is coming from. So I'm going to read you two sets of stats, okay? So we have a player who got 68 receptions, 865 yards, 8 touchdowns. And they got graded overall a 72.9 grade last season. Then we have a player who has 79 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, and an overall grade of 84.3. So off the rip, you're probably like, okay, yeah, so Amari Cooper got 1,100 yards and he got graded 84.3. They're probably pretty close. No, you would be wrong. CeeDee Lamb was both higher overall PFF grade last year. He got more receiving yards by 400 almost, and he got very similar amount of production in the touchdown department, 6 compared to 8. So I think Lamb could potentially, if he gets a more share of those targets, he could easily be an upgrade over Cooper.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about the productions and the advanced stats from PFF. And look, I think we've seen Amari Cooper ever since he came to Dallas a few years ago. He came on really strong. The last few years, he's kind of tailed off his production slightly, as kind of paired and coupling with CeeDee Lamb's rise coming in as a rookie last year. But I think this move also was more about the dollar side of it as well. So according to overthecap.com, CeeDee Lamb has a cap hit of $3.8 million in 2022. And in 2023, it's $4.4 million. Okay, about $4 million both years. Amari Cooper in this offseason before he got traded would have cost Dallas $18.8 million in cap space in 2022, and then $23.7 million in cap space in 2023. That is a massive delta between the two. And here's what I really like. This is where overthecap.com, they create a player valuation. So they look at the player's age, his stats, his position, and say, hey, what is this player roughly worth? So they valued CeeDee Lamb at $12.9 million. So that means Dallas paying him $4 million. He's valued at $13 million, give or take. That means they get a $9 million, they're getting $9 million extra value out of him versus how much they're paying for him. They valued Cooper at $9 million. So $4 million less than Lamb. That also means that Dallas is paying Cooper, if he were to stay with Dallas, $10 million over what he was valued at as a player. And that's really what it comes down to. The NFL has that hard cap, so it's all about finding value. That's how teams like the Patriots, with Tom Brady for all those years, and then when Tom Brady went to the Bucs, when you get a quality player at lower than market value, which Brady was, you're able to surround them with better players and create a better, deeper roster. That's exactly what this move was. And to your point, also the stats and both the production and the advanced stats show that Lamb is just as good, if not frankly better than Cooper was.
Yeah, and I think Jones, being a staunch business professional, like he probably looks at the dollars to production ratio, if that's even a statistic. We can make it one. Dollars to production. But he definitely looks at stuff like that, like, oh, how much am I paying? And that, just hearing the numbers in the 18, 19 million range and $23 million, that's crazy. Like, Lamb at or basically 4 million each year, roughly. That is such a no-brainer. I can pay 4 million for this guy who is pretty much an upgrade in all departments and a wash in touchdowns, I guess. 6 to 8, that could really, anything can determine that. But you're saving $10+ million on him per year. That is a no-brainer. And so I can definitely see where Jones, from a business perspective, says, this is a true upgrade. I'm paying much, much less. I can do much, much more with my team, upgrade the team upgrade, and I get the same or better production out of them. That's a really big brain move by Jerry Jones.
Yeah, exactly. And you brought the key point being team, because obviously this is going into Tony Pollard, running back Pollard's contract year. Dalton Schultz, the tight end, he's got the franchise tag. This is essentially a contract year for him as well. So there's a lot of money that's going to be spent on some of these players that make up the core of the Cowboys roster, that if they had that money tied up in Cooper, they couldn't use it now in the future to keep some of these players in place with Dallas. So again, like you said, this is a very savvy move by Jerry Jones, and Jones, to his credit, has a real point here that Lamb is an upgrade.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.